Hey guys, I'm here. I'm going to be building this Forest Hideout set 40567. This is a gift with purchase set that I got recently, and I absolutely loved the original set. It's also rather small, this one, so I figured I would build it. This here is the original set 6054. It was released in 1988. You can see a regular Forestman and then a red Forestman. Forest person, I suppose, since they are rather gender neutral. Whereas in this one, we're lucky to have a lady forest person. Seems there are no stickers, so I think I can get straight to the building. I'm just going to pop plastic here. Usually I use a knife, this is just a file. Does look like there is no sticker sheet here, so we can dive right in. 2 number 1 bags, 2 number 2 bags. We'll set those to the side. This is the instruction booklet, 18 years and up. This is one of the few 90 years of play sets. It's stapled in the middle, not a fold out. Here you go. First tells you about new packaging. You need to build 1 and then 2. So these bags are recyclable. They do say recycle on them. They are PP, polypropylene, which is designated with a 5. You don't have to, but sometimes it's nice to put the bags, even with the same numbers, in slightly different areas, since all of a certain piece will be there, such as this square 1/3 piece, 1 by 1. It's been a really long time since I've seen this helmet. Obviously, it is just the same as it used to be, as far as I can tell. So here is the back before we put the quiver on. You can see they've gotten a little ragged over the 20-something years. So we get 1 Forester helmet and we get 1 hair, which cannot sit straight. No. Can. Don't want to put pressure on it. Okay. Oh, I take that back. We only get 1 quiver, so we can take this out. I suppose we could just switch the heads. And the feather. So this is interesting. In the past, the feathers would come on a wheel. They do not come on a wheel now, with 3 different types of feathers. They only give you the smallest feather now. It also seems to be made of a slightly different plastic. Can't really tell, but this is less shiny than ABS, which is the standard Lego plastic. None of these heads are dual-sided. Looks like they made him left-handed. And they made her left-handed as well. Of course, you do not have to follow that. I just like to point it out. Now we're making the arrow target. This here with this, facing like that, so that it can stand up. Okay, and now we start on the tree. So we will put these two facing in like this. And the all-important hinge. It's always at a lack of having hinges. When I was a kid. Obviously they have updated this set quite a bit. This piece wasn't around in 1988. Neither were these small corner pieces here. Neither were these. This here. Neither was this color. I believe this piece was introduced with Pirates in 1989 with the barrel top, which means even this piece did not exist in 1988. This piece also did not exist in 1988. It was introduced relatively recently. I don't know, maybe 2010. I don't know the year. This piece was around, and this piece was not. Was introduced, I would say, after 2000. I'm not exactly sure of the date. This piece was also for sure not around. My guess is that this piece is very new, maybe less than 4 years old. It's just interesting how much they have updated this set and yet kept the spirit of the set. Obviously, oneers, as they call them, they were around in 1988. So one good thing about this set is its gift with purchase. Only, still $150 is a lot, but only $150. Whereas even used, the original set will set you back around $88 right now. Cheapest. Each there. There should be one more, a third one. Here. Put two black flat on top. This round piece was also not around in 1988. I think it was introduced in the 90s though. this piece was not around. This piece was, but not in this color. I think brown was introduced with pirates as well in 1989, but not for this piece, I believe. And this piece, I'm not quite sure. It was introduced in the 90s at the latest. With the introduction of this piece. Okay, next we have this engine cover, which was introduced in the 90s, but not around in the 80s. We'll be using two of these. Part of the tree stump. This one goes here. Of course, I'm not sitting here with a Lego history book in front of me, so these are my educated guesses based on my long love affair with Lego. I'm sure I won't get them all perfectly. This piece was also not around. It is relatively newer, maybe 2000s. This piece was around, as you may guess. It's a very basic piece. Also, at that time, and I may try to find the Lego instruction booklet, these pieces were not around. But the full barrel, this one, I believe it was. I could be wrong. But the instruction booklets at the time, this set would have been maybe 10 steps, very few steps, and it would not have told you which pieces it uses, so it took a lot longer to build a Lego set at that time. You had to really guess. This was not around. It would have been built with 3 runners. So I think, for example, the yellow castle only has maybe 15 steps or so, which is pretty incredible. Nowadays it would have maybe 200. A similar set would have 200. These were not around. They were slightly different in design. There were corner castle pieces that were black and used for this set, but of a different design. These were not around either. These were introduced, I believe, in the late 90s. This was not around. There was a tree piece, but it was different design. This piece, it was introduced in the early 90s, the latest, so it may not have been around at 88, but this piece was. It's good to see that piece. I don't see it too often recently. Okay, and now these leaves. I'm pretty sure the leaf was introduced around this time, around 88. Maybe this set only, the original set only had the large leaf, I'm not 100% sure. Now we're building onto the bottom of this, which isn't too common for Lego. And we put this way. There's a little leaf facing outwards. Now we're already on step 19. And we come to these round pieces, which, as I said, I think the one tall was introduced around this time, but the flat was not introduced until Pirates in '88. Two of these. Piece on the bottom, followed by runners on top. Interesting that they have the square flat ones, but they choose to use the round ones here. And a gray clip. Not fitting in with the black theme, but LEGO tries to keep the cost low by having pieces only in certain colors. So that could be why the clip is gray. Okay, there we go. It's pretty sturdy. There's the entrance. Very similar to the original set. This brick piece was not around. It was added quite a bit later. I would say around 2005 or so. When they started making these very decorative sets. And this was not around either. It was introduced around the turn of the century. I believe with the adventure sets, it was originally an animal part. These were around. They were used in the original set, also for this design. So this gray part right here seems very original. I mean, coming from the original set, not that they've designed it in an original design, since they really just copied from the original. And I would be happy either way, either to get this set completely copied or to have it completely originally designed. I like it either way. Luckily they gave us some extra. So these flowers were not around. They had flowers but different design. They also had a 3-prong flower stem but of a different design with it took a stud on the bottom. Could not be held by the hand. Well, those that take a stud can also be held by the hand. This is a little loose. I think that's okay. I believe I'm sure this was around, as it was used in space around that time, and this should have been around as well. But this type of combination for a mushroom was pretty much unheard of until probably Lord of the Rings. Okay. That is everything from bag 1. Here are the extra pieces from bag 1. We have 2 extra feathers. We have 1 extra stand, an extra stem, a sword, and a few small pieces. Okay, now we'll go on to bag 2. The noise here. I wonder if this is going to change a lot. That is the noise when LEGO switches to paper. Okay, so now we'll finish up the build. I'll try to keep calling out what is and isn't new. I'm not sure you can tell on the video, but these are, yeah, I think you can. These are two different greens here. And originally they were only this color green, even the large leaves. So this light green is also quite new. But you can see that the older, or the smaller leaf uses the older color. So originally I did not have this set. My brother had it, and I liked Castle the most. I still like Castle the most. And when I was in high school and I had a job, I was able to purchase one of these. And then I also got another one. This piece was obviously not around either, since the 1x2 was not around. So here's where they really start to deviate from the original, which is fine, as I said. But then I also bought some used Legos from a friend, and that also contained another one of these sets. Not complete, but still contained it. This piece was not around. The original one, this stud was indented more. It is the older style. This shield obviously was. It was used in the original set. It looks exactly the same. Printing looks the same. And there are two of those. Shields are, of course, very important, and the Forestmen are the only one with the brown shield, if my memory serves me correct. Which makes sense, you would expect them to use a wooden shield. Okay, and now the other hinge. Always gotta have two hinges for steadiness. Now the set is quite sturdy. They really like to use this rounded 1x2 in this set. Fine, just interesting. This piece was around, it was used in the original set. And I will try to rebuild that set when I review this, or at least do a side-by-side comparison after I review it. So now these are the same height. Goes here. Now we come to the barrel. I don't think the barrel was released until Pirates, as I said. So 1989. Same as this piece. And this arch, it was around, but it was a different design. You can see how this leaves some room. The original one did not. It arched straight from there. I don't really have a preference between the two. One is more nostalgic than the other, I guess. a small one. And this on top. It goes here. And now we've used the last of these side pieces. And we put 1x2s. This piece was similarly not around at the time. They would have used probably this piece again. 1x6 was around. So was the 1x4. One by threes were around at the time, probably used in the original set. Okay, and this piece, this is a question. It might have been around in space and just not used in Castle, or it might not have been around. Maybe a different booster was around. But they did have rocket ship boosters in the 80s. So this roof was obviously in the original set and blue. I like that they kept it blue, but it was a different hinge. This was 5 hinges and 4 receptacles, and it fit in, and that hinge did have some limitations. It would break more, but I still like those, and I have many that are not broken as well. So a flat 1x6, which is, you know, a snot, or 1x6 snot. This is studs not on top. I believe this was around. They did have plates in the 80s, but maybe not 1x6. It might have been 1x4. Now we start to decorate the leaves. We put one here. Okay. Doesn't stay super well. It's okay. I like the angle it's on. It's a nice realistic angle. And we put the tree. This tree was around and on the original set. Foliage was rather tough to come by, and as you can tell, this is a very small tree. What would be the equivalent of 2 meters or less in real life. And although there are some cypress trees around that size, it's not so common. So this was not around. This handlebar was introduced in the 2000s. Probably before 2010, but around that time. I have to turn this one around. Okay, we make 2 of these. Let's do them at the same time. This one goes here. quite a bit of flexibility here. We have quite a range of, quite a freedom of movement. They are also a little bit fragile. Now we simply take two of these. And we put one here. Now this is starting to explain why we used all those flat 1x2 plates with holes in them, so that we could then stick the leaves in. So these large leaves, these were definitely around at the time and used in this set. I got the angle wrong on this one again. Okay, and this piece, definitely not around at the time. And Technic was around. I believe the 1/3, the 3-length rod was as well. This was, and so were flags. They were used in the original set, probably red. Forestmen tend to have red flags. Okay, this piece was not, and neither were these. These were introduced also, I think, with the elephant. And this for sure was not. This is a very new piece. As a matter of fact, I think this is the first that I'm getting this piece in. At least building this piece with. We do two more. I think this finishes out the set. One goes here. The other one goes here. Okay, and we are done. That's what the instruction book shows. These are the pieces. Here is one more view of the set on the final page. So I hope you liked that. Oh, so the second, I hope I'm not mixing them up much, but are the extra pieces from the second bag. And so these are all the extra pieces in the set. Again, here are the minifigures. And the target. And this is the set. Looks pretty good. It's pretty tall here. Closed up, it looks like a tree. Does not snap together, but that's okay. It's very nice. This is what the inside looks like. Here's the ladder to get to the second floor, which you may have trouble seeing. But there's room for them to climb up even. Well, I hope you guys really liked this build. I really like this set, both the original and this revision. I'll be doing a review of it soon. Thank you. Bye.